The command line is a very powerful tool. It will make you faster and more efficient. It's also necessary for some of the things that we're going to do on servers. And so I want you to feel comfortable in the command line. Now, many of you have never used that, and that's okay. Do not be afraid. This is really not a big deal. What you see in the movies is not really true in kind of how it really works. And so essentially anything that you can do in the Finder or in your operating system as you move files and folders around, you can do in the command line, which is actually what's going on in the background. So every time you do something with the GUI or the graphical user interface, it's really running a command. And so there's a couple of ways to do this, as you can do it through the GUI, or you can do this through running a command on the command line. Now, if you played Minecraft when you were younger, or maybe even today, you would, one of the things you can do is do slash and then a command. This is the same type of thing. So we're going to get into that using the terminal. So you're going to do command space to open up Spotlight and type TER, and that will bring up your terminal. If you are on a Windows machine, you're going to do this in PowerShell. So PowerShell is the best app for Windows. Terminal is your best option for what we're going to be doing for a class. So TERM gets you to terminal, you hit enter, it switches and brings up this window. And so this is a window, and let me walk through what you're seeing first. You can see the login. You can see that basically the name of my computer, what user is logged in, and then the flashing dot here says that I'm waiting for the next command. So go ahead and get that open. And then we're going to walk through and do this step by step. I want you to type everything that I type. You're going to do it over and over again so that you can memorize these commands. You'll just get so used to it, you'll just memorize it because you're going to do it one time after the other, okay? Oh, I'll also encourage you, make some flashcards of some of these commands and test yourself while you're just going throughout your day. So we're going to open terminal, as I said, command space is the best way to get there. And but you can go to the applications, utilities, and then open terminal that way. I'm a big Gladiator fan, and I think that you will be in command of your computer by using the command line. So let's get started and learn some of our commands. We're going to get about 10 today. We're going to start with these 6. So first we're going to do print working directory, or PWD. So just type PWD and hit enter. And you will see that it tells me exactly where I am on my computer system. So I'm in the directory called users and in one called Stephen King. Okay, and I put all these up and to show you that there are several that you'll use back and forth. So if I want to see what's in this directory, so print working directory just got me a list, or got me the directory I'm in, the file structure. But if I type ls, that will tell me what's in this directory. Okay, so ls is to list. So print working directory gave you the path. ls gives you what's inside of it. Okay, so I can type pwd again, pwd, print working directory, pwd. Got it? All right, and then ls to list the items in a folder. Okay. One that we'll use more on a server than anything else, but you should know, is host name. And then in this case, I don't have a host name. Normally you have one when you're logged in to a server and it would print that there. So don't worry about that one as a big one, but it's one that you may come up that you might need to know. What is your login name here? So I have a computer. That's essentially what my host name is now. But if you were on some other one, might have a domain name or an IP address there with your username associated to it. But we're on a local machine, so it'll just be host name will be fine. All right, another command that's not on the list here, but one that's helpful, especially when I'm teaching, is for me to type clear. Clear, all it does is scroll up and clears the thing. So all those commands are still there, but it just gave me some space. And so I hit clear, and it will give me a nice clean page. So first we did print working directory, we did host name, and now let's do change directory. So first thing I want to do is look at what am I looking at. So I can type ls and see what files there are. Now I have a lot of things in my documents folder, for example. So if I were to cd to documents, now notice that typed really fast. I didn't actually type it that fast. What I did was I typed the first few letters and then hit spacebar. So DOC tab, not spacebar, tab. When you hit tab, it will fill in whatever it knows is next. Okay, and so it filled in documents, and then I hit enter, and then I am now in the documents folder. So if I type TWB, or sorry, print working directory, TWD, you'll see now I'm in users, my name, and the documents folder. Now, watch this long list, because I have too many things in my documents folder. I hit ls, and it then gives you all the stuff in my directory. Okay, so I'm going to do clear just to give us a nice clean page. But see, we're still in the documents folder. And now I can go back a level to where we were before. So I'm going to do cd .. That takes me back one level. So if I do pwd now, you'll see I'm outside of that. I'm outside of the documents folder. If I hit ls, you can see I'm in the documents folder, or you can see all the things that are in my home directory. So now what I want you to do is cd to your desktop. So I type DES and then tab and then enter. Now I'm in the desktop. I can ls that. Yes, if that comes up. And you'll see I have a lot less number of files. And so CD is change directory. We're going to change directories over and over. But now what I want us to do is to make a directory. So we're going to do mkdir space and the name we want to do this. Okay, and we're going to call this 487 practice. Okay, and hit enter. Now, if you ls, you should see 487 in this big, here, sorry, 487 practice right there. Okay, so 487 practice is a folder in there. You see the other things have PDF or have file extensions. The ones that don't have file extensions are folders. So here I have the 487 practice. So if I want to go into that folder, I'm going to do CD 487 tab, and it puts me in the practice. I hit enter, and that's where I am. If I ls, you'll see it's empty. There's nothing there. If you want to make sure you're in the right spot, pwd, you can see the whole path of where you are. So we've made a directory. Let's make a few more. Why don't we call this, why don't we say mkdir, make directory, baseball, make directory, basketball, make directory, football. All right. Now, if you hit ls, you should see all three of those folders. If you wanted to make a set of folders inside of another folder, we can use the pathing to do this again. So I'm going to do mkdir football space, or I use tab to finish it. So football slash, and then the whatever folder I want to create, and we'll just say players. Now, if I ls, nothing changed here, but I can ls football. Okay, and you see players is in there. Okay, so let me show you what I've done to kind of give you a quick review here. pwd shows us that I'm in the practice folder. ls shows me all the contents of that folder. And if I cd to football, then I can ls, and I will see a thing called players. Okay. So we created multiple directories, including subdirectories. So I can make another one here. Make directory coaches. And now I hit ls, and you see inside the football directory is two folders, one called players and one called coaches. So now let's see if we can remove a directory. Okay, so here we are inside of football, and you might just guess, I might type MR for remove directory. And then which one do I want to use? And I hit players and I hit enter. Now if I ls, that's great, it's gone. So I'm going to clear. So I hit clear just to give us some new space. Let's ls, see where we are. We're inside of coaches. And remember, I made a directory called players. And now I could remove that directory. Okay, so nothing's changed. Okay, but what if I wanted to remove a directory that has things inside of it? You can do rm-r and then it will remove the directory and all the files inside of it. So remove directory only does a folder. rm removes the folder and then its contents if you put -r for recursive, so all of the contents. So I don't use rmdir a lot. You can, but most of the time I just use rm space -r to remove the folder and everything inside of it. Okay. So what I want you to do is to pause the video and then practice this. Make a few folders, remove them, delete them, and remember that you can use rm instead of rmdir. Now we have a few other commands that I want you to learn. So CP for copy. And so let's go ahead and make sure we're all in the same place. So you see right now I'm still in football and you've been practicing, and so you may be in a different folder. So if you just hit CD and hit enter, you'll return back to your home folder. Okay. Now, remember that 487 practice folder we were working on? Let's CD into there. And that was on my desktop, 487. And then here I am, PWD, I'm in the right spot. LS shows me what's inside of it. All right, now what if I wanted to, let's create a folder called players. So we're gonna do make directory players. Okay, and now if I wanted to copy the folder from here into baseball, for example, I can do CP from what to what, from where to where, right? Where are you taking it from to another location? So CP players space, and then I want to do baseball slash, and then I need to say what I want the folder to be called. So copy players to baseball and call it players, right? So this is the new structure for that. I'm gonna hit enter. So now we're gonna be learning some more commands, but I wanna make sure we're all in the same place in the same folders. Another thing you can do to go home is type CD and hit enter, and that will take you back to your home folder. So now I'm back in my home folder, and then I can change directories to the desktop. So CD desktop, and then 487, and notice I was hitting tab to fill it in and then hit enter. And so now I'm back in my 487 practice. I hit LS to see what's there. We have baseball, basketball, and football. Okay. So what we want to do is create a folder and then copy it into all the other folders one at a time. So I'm going to make directory players. Okay, so I'm creating a folder called players. And then I want to copy it. And now we need to learn about arguments. So we kind of saw this when I did the deleting of removing a folder, but CP is to copy. And if it's a single file, I can just copy and then type the file name. Something like that. And it would copy that file from one location to wherever I tell it to put it. But if it's a folder, we need to say copy the folder and all of its contents with -r for recursive. Okay, so we put copy with the argument of recursive, and then we want to put players from where to where we want to put it, from and to. So from the players is what we're going to do, space, and then we want to do baseball / players. So where are we going to put it? So when you get a command that just finishes, then everything looks good. So let's do ls baseball players. Oops, sorry, ls baseball. And then you get players is inside it. So you see, with this command, I copied the folder players to baseball. Now note that I had to type in what I wanted it called. So let's see what happens when we do players to basketball. It fails because it doesn't have the folder you want to call it. Okay, so what we're going to do, oh, I hit CD. Let me try again. Hang on, it failed, but it failed because I typed the wrong thing. Let's try that again. CP-R players to basketball. All right, now it did it. So let's see what it did. ls basketball. And it's not there. So let's go in and make sure. CD basketball. Note that players did not end up in basketball without me typing what I wanted the name to be. So remember, whenever you're copying something, you need to include the same file name if you want it to stay the same. And so what we're going to do is cd ... So go back a level. Notice I'm back in my 47 practice. And if I hit ls, I can cp players into football players. Now this one didn't work. Why not? What did I leave off? I left off the -r. Remember, it's a folder. So cp-r players football. Where am I putting it to? What do I want to call the file name? And now it works right. So now if I ls football, it'll show me that players was copied there. All right, so see how we're using the same directory structure, we're using the same commands. A couple of things that I want to add is one is remembering the arguments, and we'll see different arguments. -r is the only one we've learned so far. And then the other one that you will see is that you'll have up arrow. I want you to show you. If I up arrow, so I'm just pressing up over and over, it goes through the list of previous commands that I've typed. Okay, so that can save you a lot of time when you're doing the same thing over and over. So if you wanted to cp-r instead of typing it every time, what you could do is up arrow and then just change this from football to basketball. All right, and so now it's in there. Okay, so up arrow is a nice tool for doing that. So I'm going to clear. And then MV works the same way. So let's move, we'll just move these all into sports. So mkdir sports, MV baseball to sports/baseball. Now, is this going to work? Before I hit enter, you tell me if you think it's going to work. Okay. Yes, it did. For moving, we don't have to do the recursive piece of that. It's just the way file structures work. So you don't have to have the -r on this. But if we ls sports, then you'll see baseball is in there. So go ahead and move all the others. MV football into sports/football. Up arrow. And then I can arrow back, and then what do I have left? Let me ls. See what's left. Basketball. MV basketball to sports/basketball. All right, so now I have these two, and so maybe I just want to remove players now. So rm -r players. Now I have a nice clean folder and just has sports in it. Okay. So these are the basic commands I wanted you to learn. Now you may think I could have done that a whole lot faster in Finder. And right now you could, because you haven't learned how to do it and you got to get used to it. Okay. But as you memorize these commands and get used to it, it will make you very fast and very efficient. For practice, what I want you to do is to make a copy of this, but not using the Finder. You're going to do everything in the command line. Okay, so go ahead and create a projects folder. Then it will have inside of that, I'll have a final project, spring and fall inside of that. And then you'll see you have projects 1, 2, 3, and 4, students, and I put some students in here and teachers. So make the same thing. And then note that I did not tell you how to do a space between two words. The reason is part of this class is about learning how to figure this stuff out. Okay, so what I want you to do is to do this practice, and you've got to figure out how to put a space in your commands.